waiting to hope you like
Well, welcome back to another episode of Getting to Know You. And today we are interviewing Greg Watson. What an amazing guy. Here he is, Greg. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Mona.
Thank you so much for taking the time so that we can get to know you a little bit better. You are a member of our leadership team, so you're an elder. You help out with so many aspects. I can't post one of these things without you. So you do the tech stuff and you're doing the finance stuff. You're just all around. And we are so very, very grateful to you. So Greg, how are you in the midst of all of this madness going on? How have you been handling it? How are you?
Well, I'd say reasonably well. So, I'm also parish administrator for an Anglican church in Downsview.
Right.
And Downsview is one of the areas much harder hit by COVID-19 than Pickering. So I get to see the COVID-19 experience in Pickering and the home shut down and the work shut down. And, my wife is, okay, she's laid off from her job. And this is the first time she's had to deal with layoff. And I get to see sort of the intense dealing with COVID-19 of Downsview, which is, I guess, about 6 times higher than Pickering.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's dealing with the whole thing. It's been quite an experience.
So it keeps it in perspective, right?
Keeps
and
it
the
in
importance
perspective.
Yeah.
And that you can keep on moving through it. You don't stop, or you don't have to stop.
Right. So we're in phase 3 right now, and of course our church at Amberlea is still closed in terms of in-person worship. But the Anglican church that you're working with is now opening for in-person worship.
Yes, they have opened. They opened last week for in-person worship.
Right.
So, 2019, second week of September, their attendance was 125.
Right.
Last Sunday, it was 20.
Right. Right.
And that 20 includes the priest, the cleaner, the musicians, the ushers, as well as the congregation.
Right. So people are still anxious going back. Yeah. Greg, how have you? Kenny was home, right, for a bit.
Yep, Kenny was home.
Who else is in like kind of isolating or working from home or staying with you guys right now? Like,
right now, it's just Elsie and I. Kenny, who's in the Navy,
yes.
Yeah, he's training as a paramedic. So beginning of August, he went back to New Brunswick to complete his class instruction. So New Brunswick had its COVID-19 shutdown just 2 weeks before he finished his final exams. So he had to go back, and then they kind of had a quarantine for 2 weeks in New Brunswick, which he and his classmates used to, study and catch up. And then they had to write their exams. And today he's going from Moncton, New Brunswick to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, where he's going to be doing his practical.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so proud of Kenny. That's so good.
Yeah.
So, has it been an okay time, or has there been periods of stress, or how has it been for you?
Well, I'd say it's it's a period of intense change, right? So from the finances to the technology, everything's vastly different.
Yeah.
Right, and yeah, you've been part of that experience. It's a lot of change.
Yeah, it is a lot of change for a lot of people in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
So, Greg, let me ask you the question that I've been asking everybody. In the midst of this, and now we're 6 months into this global pandemic, where have you seen God in this?
Well, I really feel like I've gone from reading the Bible to moving in. So moving into the Bible. So one of the things we've been doing, St. Stephen's has been doing during the pandemic, was morning prayers,
Mhm.
which again, it's the Anglican cycle of fifth prayer, so it's pretty liturgical. But I was started out going through, of all things, Leviticus.
Oh, it's a tough book to start with.
Yeah, and you're thinking, okay, most people would think that it's a boring book to start with. Like, it's liturgical anyway, and you're reading Leviticus.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was reading Leviticus, or, the Father Theodore was reading Leviticus, and I was recording it. And I thought, oh, that's social distancing. And, there's kind of a philosophy that flowed through Leviticus I hadn't noticed before, was that disease follows bodily fluids. A lot of dominoes kind of fell into place that I hadn't realized that it was a question before, but okay, how did the Israelites wander the desert for 40 years and become stronger than the Canaanites living in the promised land? Right? Because if you look at refugees today, no, living in a refugee camp for 40 years doesn't make them stronger. And I realized, oh, it's because the Israelites, with their social distancing, were able to resist the plague diseases that the Canaanites didn't. So the Canaanites suffered from things like, the disease like cholera and whooping cough, and more than the Israelites did. And this became why the Israelites were able to take them on and defeat them. It also then realized, oh, this was why the Pharisees, in Jesus' time, were so stuck on all their rules. Because in their experience, this is what had made them stronger as a society. So they were, sort of had the idea, well, if you don't follow all these rules, you're going to get sick and die. Right? And then, okay, Jesus' correction was that the law is important, but what's important about it is adhering to God's will. That you have to look at your situation, and God will give you the information you need to live with it and survive it. And your job is to follow it. Like, not pray, God, we human beings have screwed things up so badly, fix it. It's pray, your will be done. Right? So these were all dominoes that kind of fell into place.
Well, that's
suddenly I understood that.
Yeah, that's great. Not only to read the Bible, but to live it. To live
Right.
it.
And this is happening now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Anything else you want to share, Greg?
Well, those were the big things that happened. Well, the next thing is, okay, what happens next? You realize, okay, COVID-19 is not going to end anytime soon. Right? So in-person worship is like, we're not going to be able to go back to the way things were.
Right.
We still have the mission, from Matthew 28 of go make disciples. And now the question is, okay, how do we do it?
Right. How amazing is it that the church goes on? It's not about being in a building, right? It's about, we are the church. And so the ministry continues, the worshiping continues, the teaching continues, whether we're in a building or not, because we are the church.
Yeah.
And I think that goes right back to Matthew, and it goes right back to the times of Jesus, where it wasn't confined to a building, right?
Yeah.
It was about being outside and going and spreading the word. So we can still do those things, which I find, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Greg, thank you so much for taking the time, for letting us get to know you a little bit better. And thank you for all of the things that you do at Amberlea. You are so greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
We'll talk again real soon. God bless you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That was great, Greg. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for you and all that you do at Amberlea. You are an amazing, amazing man. And thank you for taking the time so that we can get to know you. We have more episodes coming up, so stay tuned. In the meantime, God bless you. Take care of yourselves and each other. Be well. Bye.
My cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy.